Do you own a BMW E30 and your bonnet won't stay up? Me too. Welcome to Cable Tyres Fixes Everything, where I make videos about cars and post it on the internet. So let's take a look at what mechanism BMW employed on the E30 to stop it from hitting you on the head. The answer is this little guy here, a gas pressurised spring, which is held in place with these two lock rings. Firstly, you're going to want to find a way to stop the bonnet from falling down and hitting you. Then, using your trusty flat bladed screwdriver, prise it out and put it somewhere safe. As you can see, I had a little bit of difficulty getting it off. The angle that I'm looking down at isn't quite as clear as the camera, but once I figured it out, it just slides off and it's nice and easy. Access to the other locking ring is actually quite difficult, so I had to remove the breaker bar that I was using to hold the bonnet up. As you can see, it's pretty tight in this bit. I've struggled to get any kind of purchase here. It's pretty tucked up down in there. Fortunately, when it did ping off, I was able to retrieve it. It just fallen down slightly. Keep these things somewhere safe. Just a quick shot here of both sides so you can see what they look like. Again, this is the bonnet ram. I think it's as old as the car, and this needs to go in the bin. It does not work. I used a slightly longer screwdriver just to pop it off. Next thing you're going to want to do is grab your new one and rip it out of the packaging. As you can see, my old one, you can push it in quite easily by hand, whereas the new one is actually quite difficult to move. I wasn't able to replace the lock ring in that gap with my chubby fingers, so what I ended up doing was removing the wash bottle. It's quite simple how it's held in. It's done by that plastic screw, and also it just sits in a tab there. If you give it a wiggle, it'll come out pretty easy. And this gave me much better access to unscrew that part of the bonnet mechanism so that I could fit the ram on a lot easier. With the wash bottle removed, you've actually got quite a lot of access to that nut. It's a 13mm. I used a spanner, but obviously you can use a ratchet or whatever takes your fancy. So slide your new ram on. Don't make the mistake I made at first by putting the thicker edge on this side. It is the thin part that goes on here, and as you can see, I'm able to lift it entirely out of the car with it disconnected so that I can quite easily slip on the lock ring without scratching my knuckles and without having to struggle to get my chubby fingers inside a really small gap. Now, one of the beauties of filming when you work is you can actually watch it back and realise mistakes you've made here. You can see that I put the washers in the wrong place, so it doesn't quite sit properly. It'll work, but it might wear, so when I get the opportunity, aka tomorrow, I'm going to sort this out and make sure that I put all of the washers in the right place. This one's nice and easy. You just push the ram into the right place and then grab your lock nut and you just slide it on. You've got lots of space to work here, so this part shouldn't be any bothered whatsoever. So there we have it, another good job well done. As you can see, the bonnet is now holding itself up, but first we need to just make sure that the washer bottle's in the right place, and I might have to think about replacing that bonnet lining too. And as the trusty Haynes always says, refitting is the reversal of removal. So this just slots back into place and then you can tighten up your plastic screw and that's your washer bottle sorted. A top tip is always make sure you check your workspace, especially when working under the bonnet. Make sure that you've not left anything there. As you see, I'm going to test it now. Bonnet goes down as it would, and then it lifts up. The RAM doesn't actually make it go up and down, doesn't assist in that like it does on modern cars. It's simply there to serve the purpose to make sure that your bonnet stands up.